Hello, chaps. It's the 7th video I'm making for this pit boss, I should say, and it's turn 73. Been quite a long while since I made the last one. So I'll start off with the economic narrative, the sort of internal narrative, and then I'll look further abroad. Previously, the narrative was that I screwed up my expansion. I think I made too few workers, and I delayed. Also, I had that screw up where I started making my second or third settler on with only 2 population in the town instead of letting it grow, which was rather spastic. That was very early on, though. And then I misread Van Robe's instructions. He's my lurker, and I built... I 2-pop whipped granaries instead of settlers, and that was when I had only these 3 towns. So the narrative was, oh, I screwed up my economics, now I'm going to be behind. And I think I clawed it back. You know, when you have slavery and it's the early game and you've got some food resources and you're trying to get settlers and workers out, it's actually quite useful to just have granaries because you can whip and then grow back. At least I think so. So the granaries obviously weren't as good as just getting settlers out, but it's not that bad. Something that's very nice is the combination of the organised trait and these lakes. I mean, we've got 3 workable tiles there and only 1 there. But still, this is very exciting. Just delicious. And this is a nice, neat little city. I founded it very recently. You can kind of see the lack of workers in that unworked cattle tile, and these pigs as well. This one got founded like 4 turns ago, and it's still... Also, I couldn't think of a naming scheme, so I'm just naming them after members of China's State Council. Yes, anyway, so have we caught up? I believe so. You look at the demographic rankings. Bear in mind that this is after I whipped this, so the GNP and the production... I mean, I was +7 on manufacturing before this whip, so I was above average before that whip. GNP also was above average before that whip. Although, of course, counting just after whips and then saying, oh, but it was better before is kind of silly because I'm sure everyone else is whipping. Slightly above average on crop yield, which is nice. Soldiers, well, I probably overinvested in soldiers, so that's not something to boast about. Land area is above average, but I have creative, so probably just average or even below average. I think though MJMD's Sumeria is probably the world leader for crop yield. And based on the espionage, where's the espionage? Where do I even see? Yeah, and he only has 7 cities, which is the same as me. He did found them relatively earlier than me. Oh goodness, he has a galley and a workboat, so he's getting something quite neat and nice over there. And I wonder if I actually screwed up. I never even thought about... I mean, I only founded this town recently, so... I never even thought about getting over here. Goodness, that would have been nice. But it's not really necessary. I've got this little place I can settle on. So anyway, what I was saying is, if MJMD, who is leader on crops, only has 7 towns, and I have 7 towns, and some of his 7 are new too, even though, you know, this is very new, these 2. You know, I'm not actually that behind. I think I've caught up. I think it's not so terrible anymore. We've got some GNP on this. I guess Super Death is actually behind. I mean, he did rush successfully, but he probably paid quite a high price in terms of internal development for that. Because you look at the espionage I have on him, and I happen to know now, because I put a fair amount of espionage on him, and he didn't put much on me, that he has weaker armed forces than I do, and he only has 5 towns. And he also has this situation where this vision is extremely good, so he can't sneak up on me, really. And actually, when I see the 5 towns and I see the military, he does have a really large swathe of territory to expand into because he conquered this player. I mean, look at this. Delightful. I mean, and probably the capital locations are better than the average city. So he is at a strategic advantage, but he's not at an actual economical, military or technological advantage. He's actually at a disadvantage, I think. So I refused several open borders agreements from him before, but now I've offered him one. Now that I can see he's not in the lead, he's not the you know, the sussy imposter or whatever you want to call it in Anno Domini 2022. You know, I can be a bit nicer to him. I don't really want to take on MJMD's vultures. Actually, no, I do. What am I saying? because they die to axemen. They're not even good. I mean, they are quite good against skirmishers, but actually, MJMD probably is a war target for me, to be honest. I mean, just look at how it's on a hill. But yeah, look at I mean, I get gold, I get this delightful property, I get, assuming I were to win an actual war against them, which is, I don't think I'm, you can see that I'm not in any real advantage there. I mean, I don't want to attack into this shithole of the Romans, and I don't want to go through this crappy area to get at the Chinese. So who does that leave? Well, MJMD is by far the closest. Super Death actually might be a target because he's a dangerous player, so it would be nice to damage him because he's always quite likely to win, I would think. And he's not that far away, and this is a decently nice place with the silver. But it is on a hill. It's a thin front. I think maybe, I was saying, like, this border, I was saying, oh, it's a safe border, we only have hill cities, but it is wealthy and it is close together, so quite good map making if those two factors were, I feel like if the map maker predicted that we would have a border where we're tempted to go to war with each other because of the wealth and the proximity, but we're deterred at the same time from going to war with each other because of the hills and perhaps also the good vision, which would have been the case even without the open borders, then that was a very nice bit of map making if they actually planned that. And the third war prospect is Jack Arby's Vikings. What traits does he have? Financial and imperialistic Vikings. Definitely a future-oriented, kind of boomy. I mean, RTS, that's an RTS term. I guess we call it Rexing in Civ 4, apparently. So he's a target. Well, he is if he tries to get something up here. So that's the question. It's really the last question. I think I've got 7 towns. If I build a filler there, well, it's basically a filler. One there, one on this hill, and one up here, then that brings me to 10, and there are no other valuable places around, so then it would be about attacking someone else to continue growing. Oh, actually, Van Rober will be kicking me for forgetting to say, of course, I would get onto this island for the stone, or alternatively onto this island for the marble. That's another clever bit of map making, that they make you choose. I mean, of course, stone has walls, marble only has wonders, and stone also has a wonder or two, so I'd probably go for the stone one. And another reason to go for the stone one is that I have to build a galley, and I'd rather have a galley in the actual sea than the lake. So there's that. So that would bring me up to, assuming I definitely get this, that would be 11 cities. If I also get this one, then it would be 12 cities. And I guess Bonnie Diamond does not have much in the way of production capacity. Maybe I should try, Li Keqiang here is going to beat Bonnie Diamond, probably, unless he's really prioritising it and chopping it, to building a galley. So I could get 12. I could actually get 12 cities, and I have cheaper lighthouses as well, which is nice for the coastals. And then I would have carved off a nice little territory for myself, and I wouldn't be obliged to find someone to attack. And if I managed to build the Great Lighthouse, which, I mean, I only have 7 net income, and I don't think I've researched the relevant technology yet. Have I? Ooh. Has someone else built it? Why doesn't it show up in my building queue? Has someone else already... Or do you need 2 technologies to build it? Is that ever a thing? Requires lighthouse... Oh, I haven't built masonry. So I was thinking I would go for this Plains Hill after getting a settler over here, but maybe I should actually start going for the stone. I need the stone. I want the Great Lighthouse. If I get the Great Lighthouse, you can forget about having to conquer people to win. It will all be about hoping nobody notices that I've got this huge trade advantage from the Great Lighthouse, and if they invade, it will be about defending my borders, which, considering I have the 25 hammer 4 defense plus 50% city defense unit, would actually be quite easy. So really the difficult part is the Great Lighthouse. But it is turn 73. Maybe if you're only just now thinking about building that, maybe it's already too late, for all I know. I'll have to ask Van Rober. I'll have to get him maybe even to watch this entire video, which is probably about 15 minutes or something terribly onerous. I really have run out of things to say. Oh, we have a little bit of Buddhism going on here, courtesy of the Sumerians, so that's nice. I well and truly can't think of anything more to say, but if you have any suggestions, or especially criticisms and ways in which I've screwed up, it's so nice having these cheap lighthouses, 2 of which are going to be completed next turn, and the workboat, the cute little boat. I mean, I'm feeling quite optimistic about the economic future. I guess it's quite a wealthy map in general, but I am especially optimistic about my position. If I don't get the lighthouse, I guess I'll have to invade someone, but if I do, then I don't. I already said that, so toodaloo, see you next time.